In the quiet town of Sunnyvale, life moved slowly. The roads were dusty, the houses were small. Most families knew each other. If someone bought a new curtain, the whole street would notice. If someone cooked meat, the smell would travel to the next compound. It was not a rich town, but it was a town filled with dreams. At the center of Sunnyvale stood Rising Star College. It was the pride of the town. Parents believed that if their child entered Rising Star College, their futures were secured. The school had tall gates, white painted walls, and a big signboard that read, "Education is power." But inside those walls, something else ruled status, and slowly, phones became the new symbol of status. It started small. A few students came to school with smartphones. Others stared in admiration. Then social media became popular. Students began taking pictures during break time. Whoever had the clearest camera got the most attention. That was how it began. Now, let's talk about the three girls. Lily did not grow up rich. Her father was a bus driver. Her mother sold vegetables on the market. Lily was the oldest child, and from a young age, she hated being poor. She hated when her mother would say, "We can't afford that." She hated wearing second-hand bags from her cousin. She hated the way some classmates looked at her worn-out sandals. One day in junior class, she overheard two girls laughing about her bag. That day, she went home and cried quietly. That day, she promised herself something: "I will never look poor again." Sarah's story was different. Her parents were always fighting about money. Her father tried many businesses, but none lasted. Some days they had food, some days they didn't. Sarah learned early how to smile even when she was hurting. She became good with pretending everything was fine. What she really wanted was attention. She wanted to feel important, seen, and admired. Nina grew up with a single mother. Her mother worked as a cleaner in town. Nina was beautiful from childhood. Neighbors would always say, "This one will marry a rich man." Nina heard into those words. She believed beauty was her escape from poverty. The three girls met in their first year in Rising Star College. At first, they were not popular. They were just regular girls sitting at the back of the classroom. But they all shared something in common. They were tired of being ordinary. One afternoon during lunch break, they were sitting under a mango tree. A group of senior girls passed by laughing loudly. Those seniors had the newest iPhone as at that time. Students surrounded them asking to take pictures. Lily watched carefully. "Do you see that?" she said quietly. Sarah nodded. "Everyone respects them." Nina added, "It is because of their phones." That moment changed everything. It started with small sacrifices. Lily saved money from helping her mother at the market. Sarah lied to her father that she needed extra textbook. Nina convinced a distant cousin to support her schooling. Eventually, between the three of them, they managed to buy one fairly used new phone. They shared it at first. They took pictures after schools. They posted online. Slowly, students began noticing them. Attention feels like sugar. Once you test it, you want more. Soon, sharing one phone was not enough. They wanted individual phone, better ones, newer ones. When the first triple camera iPhone became popular, they became obsessed. "If we have that," Lily said one evening, "no one will ever laugh at us again." That sentence became their motivation. They started thinking bigger. They met older boys who had money. At first, it was just gifts, then small favor, then more. At first, they traveled secretly to River City. Their hearts were beating faster. They were scared, but they were also excited. Blue Moon Club was bright, loud, and full of wealthy men. Compared to Sunnyvale, it felt like another world. Expensive drinks, shiny cars outside, laughter everywhere. An older woman approached them at night. "You girls are pretty," she said. "If you are smart, you can make good money here." That was the beginning. At first, Lily received a large amount of money in one night. Her hand shook. It was more than her mother made in 2 months. She didn't think about consequences. She thought about cameras. Soon, Sarah and Nina followed fully. Every Friday night became their secret routine. They would lie to their parents, sneak out quietly, travel to River City, return before sunrise, and within months, they bought the newest triple camera iPhone. The day they brought their phones to school, everything changed. Students whispered, "Wow, is that the latest one? Can I see it?" For the first time in their life, they were admired. That was the day Lily created the slangs. "If it has 3 cameras," she shouted jokingly as they walked past some students. "Stand clear." Everyone laughed, but the slang stuck. And just like that, 3 insecure girls became the queen of Rising Star College. They forgot what it feels like to be laughed at. Now, they were the ones laughing. And this was the only beginning. After that day, Lily, Sarah and Nina became untouchable at Rising Star College. Everyone watched them, whisper about them, and tried to copy their style. They were no longer just girls, they were icons. The school compound seemed smaller somehow, as if their presence made it their kingdom. They walked in groups during lunch breaks. Every step was calculated, every smile measured. Their phone were always out, not to check messages, but to show off. They posted pictures of themselves in carefully chosen outfits, posting in ways that made it clear they were rich, fashionable, and untouchable. Many students tried to approach them. Some girls wanted to be their friends, some boys wanted to impress them. But Lily, Sarah, and Nina only accepted those who had the latest triple camera iPhone. That was the rule. Everything else, beauty, intelligence, charm, was secondary. One afternoon, a girl named Emma, who had just transferred to Rising Star College from a nearby town, decided to approach them. She was quiet, shy, but determined. She had watched them for weeks, studied their behavior, and memorized their routine. She wanted to belong to their world. Gathering her courage, Emma walked up as the girls were leaving the classroom. "Hi," she said softly, trying to smile. "I really admire you girls. I want to be like you. Can I join your group?" Lily tilted her head, studying carefully. "You are new here. What phone do you have?" she asked with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Emma's hands shook as she pulled out iPhone 7 Plus. She had worked hard for it. She had saved for 6 months by tutoring young kids and helping their mother sell goods at the market. The moment Sarah saw it, she laughed so hard that she almost fell. Nina quickly covered her mouth, trying not to draw too much attention. "This," Sarah said, holding the phone in her hand. "You want to join us with this?" Ella felt her heart sink. She had thought her phone would finally give her place in this new world. Now it was the reason they were laughing at her. "You can't," Nina said coldly. "This is too old. Even my younger cousins has a better phone than this. You are not ready." The other students around them started laughing as well. Emma felt humiliated. She turned and walked away, tears blurring her vision. That day, the girls solidified their powers. Anyone who dared to approach them without the right phone would face humiliation. From that day, the slangs, "if it has 3 cameras, stand clear," became more than a joke. It was warning, a rule, a sign of power. But behind the glamour, there was a secret nobody in Sunnyvale: basic needs. They had no money for designer clothes, wigs, or luxury bags. So how did they get everything? Every Friday night, they traveled secretly to River City. Their journey alone was dangerous. A 2-hour ride by bus, hidden under blankets to avoid being recognized. In River City, they became women nobody in Sunnyvale would imagine. The light, the music, the money, it was intoxicating. At the Blue Moon Club, they were no longer Lily, Sarah, and Nina, the students. They became women who could charm wealthy men and earn large sum of money. One night could bring more than a month's earning for a family in Sunnyvale. Every gift, every note, every tip added to their goal: the newest triple iPhone camera. It started small. They convinced themselves it was temporary. They told each other it was just a way to get what they wanted. But the routine became a habit, a necessity, and slowly they began to measure their worth not by character, not by intelligence, but how many phones they could buy. It was in the period of growing power that Mary joined Rising Star College. She was different from Emma. She was bold, observant, and from River City herself. She quickly noticed patterns: the way Lily, Sarah, and Nina disappear every Friday night, the way their attention to details and charm didn't match their supposed wealth. Mary didn't confront them immediately. She watched, studied, and waited. But one day she witnessed something that changed her resolve. During lunch, Lily, Sarah, and Nina mocked a girl who had an old Android phone. "Wow," Lily said, smiling. "Is that your phone? You use that?" The girl blushed and tried to hide her device. Students laughed along. The humiliation was so deep it made Mary blood boil. That night, Mary decided she would expose the truth. She returned to River City quietly, finding Blue Moon Club, and there they were, Lily, Sarah, and Nina, laughing, dancing, sitting close to wealthy men, all the while oblivious to the camera she had hidden in her purse. She recorded everything, every gesture, every laugh, every secret. The next day, she walked into the school compound and shouted, "Everyone, come and see." Students gathered around, curious. Lily, Sarah, and Nina stopped in shock. "You all admire them," Mary said loudly. "But do you know how they get their money?" Then she played the video. The reactions were unbelievable. Whispers, shock, disbelief. The admiration they had built over months shattered in seconds. Lily cried. Sarah looked away in shame. shame. Nina tried to speak, but no words came out. From that day, the queens of Rising Star became outcasts. Their phones were confiscated. Neighbors, students, and even parents learned their secret. They had traded their values for status, and status, it turned out, was flirting. That night, they met in a quiet corner in Sunnyvale. "What now?" Sarah asked softly. "We leave," Nina whispered. And that was how the three girls decided to escape Sunnyvale to Lakeview, hoping to start fresh. But no matter where they went, the choice they had made were coming back to haunt them. Lily, Sarah, and Nina arrived Lakeview under the cover of night. The city lights were brighter than anything they had seen in Sunnyvale. Cars parked endlessly. People rushed past them, speaking in voices too loud and hurried. The air smelled different, a mix of smoke, perfume, and something electric that made them feel both excited and nervous. They had only a small amount of money left, the few $100s they have saved from River City traps. They found a tiny apartment in the third floor of the crowded building. The walls were thin, the floor cracked with every step, and the bathroom were shared with 10 other families. This is it," Nina whispered, her voice trembling. "Yes," Lily said, trying to sound confident. "It is not much, but it is ours. It is just temporary. Once we start making money, we can get more." Sarah sits on the other chair in the room, staring at the crack walls. "Temporary, that was what we always say, isn't it?" They laughed, but it was hollow. The apartment was tiny, with a single bed, a single kitchen corner, and a window that looked out over the street below. The first night, they unpacked their clothes, carefully arranging wigs, designer bags, and shoes as if setting up a display in a store. Their iPhones were still safe in their bag. To them, those phones were more than devices. They were trophies, proof that all their hard works and sacrifices has been worth it. The next day, they explored the streets of Lakeview. The city felt like a different world. Stores displayed clothes that they have never touched. Cafes served drinks that cost more than an entire week grocery back home. And everywhere, people were busy, moving quickly, eyes fixed on their phones or the next task. It was exciting, but it was also overwhelming. By Friday night, it was time to return to their old routine. Blue Moon Club awaited. They put on their best clothes, tied their wigs perfectly, and applied makeup. Every detail mattered, every glance mattered, every man's attention mattered. The first night back, Lily felt a twinge of guilt as she laughed and flirted with a wealthy man. She caught a reflection of herself in the club mirror. The girl staring back was not the same Lily who had walked through Sunnyvale dusty streets months ago. Her eyes looked sharper, harder, and distant. But the money was worth it, and the next day, with the money in their hand, they rushed to a store to buy the newest triple iPhone. The excitement of holding it, opening it, and posting pictures online was almost intoxicating. Life in Lakeview became a circle. Work at the club, money, buy the latest phone, show off, repeat. The glamour of the city and attention from men and the admiration online made them feel alive in a way Sunnyvale had never allowed. But the sacrifices was piling up. They rarely ate properly. Their apartment was cracked, and sleep was often interrupted by noise from neighbors. Lily's back ached from sitting for hours in heels at the club. Sarah's stomach often hurt from skipping meals. Nina's eyes were constantly tired from staring at her phone screen, editing pictures for social media and making sure they looked perfect. Despite all this, they continued. Every new iPhone release was a promise of validation. Every social media post was a reminder that the world still admired them. But then the first warning came. One morning, Lily woke up with a strange itch on her leg. She ignored it at first, thinking it was just a mosquito bite. By the next day, the itching had spread. Sarah complained of similar symptoms, though she tried to hide it. Nina avoided looking at her own reflection in the mirror for fear of seeing something wrong. Weeks passed and the discomfort grew. They visited small clinics, but doctors dismissed them. Nothing serious, they said, probably an allergic reaction. Take some medicine. But the symptoms did not go away. Pain, discomfort, and embarrassment began to shadow every moment. They wouldn't sleep well. They wouldn't focus on their work. And yet, they still pushed themselves to go to the club every night. The iPhone, the attention, the glamour, it all felt more important than their health. The physiological burden grew as well. They began to fight over small things. Who would sit closer to wealthy men? Whose posts would get more likes? Whose wigs looks better? That night, their friendship, once strong and based on shared goals, was now fragile. Small arguments would erupt into shouting, but their vanity kept moving forward. Then the biggest temptation arrived. the iPhone 18 Pro Max, the newest, biggest, and the most expensive phone yet. Its triple and quadruple camera setup promised unmatched clarity, style, and status. The three of them stared at the store displayed with wide eyes. "We had to get it," Lily whispered, her voice almost shaking. "But how?" Sarah asked. The recent night had not earned them enough to buy it. Nina smiled. They all knew what she meant. The dangerous, exhausting, and morally questionable routine that had brought them their early phones would continue. The circle would not stop. The iPhone was their goal. Glamour was their life. And for them, nothing else mattered. Not health, not friendship, not morality. That night, the three girls returned to Blue Moon Club with a new determination. Every smile, every flex, every interaction was carefully calculated. Every man they encountered was a potential ticket to the new iPhone. And for a while, it worked. They earned the money, bought the phones, and posted online with pride. Their lives were glamorous again, and their statues were restored. But the first sign of long-term consequences was unavoidable. Their body began spreading signals that they could no longer ignore. Persistent pain, constant fatigue, and feeling of shame began creeping into every moment of their lives. The glamour that once made them feel untouchable now felt like chains. Lily sat by the window one night, staring at her new phone. Her reflection looked pale, tired, and worn out. She whispered to herself, almost like a prayer, "What have we done?" Sarah, lying on the bed, looked at her hand, once delicate and manicured. They were now rough, tired, and scared from long nights of club work. Nina didn't say anything. She just stared at her reflection in the mirror, seeing a version of herself she no longer recognized. For the first time, the girls realized that chasing status and admiration had a cost they were only beginning to understand. Months passed, and Lakeview lights no longer felt exciting. The thrill of the club, the admiration from men, the latest phone, it all began to fade. Lily, Sarah, and Nina were still surviving, still chasing the newest iPhone. But the cost was becoming unbearable. Their bodies ached consistently. Pain and discomfort were no longer minor annoyances. They had become part of their daily life. One morning, Lily woke up and noticed something terrifying. She felt crawling sensation on her leg. At first, she thought it was imagination, but then she saw them. Small maggots coming out from the areas she could not ignore. She screamed. Sarah and Nina rushed in, only to find the same thing happening to them. For hours, they tried everything: hot water, soap, cleaning, medicine. Nothing worked. The pain became unbearable. Their neighbors in the building soon noticed. Rumor began spreading through the streets. They were humiliated. Their glamorous life was over. Their iPhones, their bags, their clothes, all meaningless now. Lily sat at the floor. This is our fault," she whispered. "We did this to ourselves." Sarah cried quietly, barely able to speak. "We thought the phones would make us happy. We thought we would buy admiration. We were all wrong." Nina, who had always been the bravest, finally broke down. All the money, all the glamour, none of it was worth it. They tried doctors, hospitals, and every treatment they could find. The doctors were tired. Medically, nothing is wrong. One said, "You are physically fine, but the pain, the maggot, the shame, it could not be treated." For the first time, the three girls faced reality. Their pursuit for status, their obsession with phones, it had all come back to haunt them. Slowly, they began selling their phones, one by one. Each sale felt like a small relief, a way to take back some control. But they knew nothing could truly erase what they had done. Their bodies, their reputations, their friendship, all had been affected. They could no longer return to Sunnyvale. Their families had heard the truth, and their parents had taken back everything that had been theirs: phones, bags, clothes, and the little trust they had left. For days, the three girls sat together in their small apartment, reflecting on every choice. Lily said quietly, "We thought we were untouchable. We thought we could buy happiness, respect, admiration, but all we bought was pain and shame." Sarah nodded, tears streaming down her face. "And for what? A phone, a title, a few likes on social media." Nina whispered, "We destroyed ourselves, chasing illusion. And the worst part, we dragged each other into this. We lost ourselves along the way." It was a long, silent night. For the first time, they talked honestly about their childhood, about their dreams, about why they had been so desperate to escape Sunnyvale, about the loneliness, the hunger, the feeling of being invisible, and how all that led them here. By morning, a decision had been made. They would change. They would live differently. They could no longer chase glamour or validation. They would start with honesty, respect, and rebuilding their life slowly and patiently. They left Lakeview soon after, not to chase status, not to impress anyone. They found work in quiet jobs, helping people, learning skills, saving money honestly. The glamour, the clubs, the phones, all were gone. Back in Sunnyvale, life continued without them. Rising Star had moved on. The slangs, "if it wasn't three camera, stand clear," faded from the hall. Students learned a valuable lesson. Admiration, popularity, and status can be temporary, but character, integrity, and hard work last forever. Years later, Lily, Sarah, and Nina met quietly in a small cafe. They were older, wiser, and quieter. Their phones were simple, functional, and no longer symbol of power. They laughed softly about their past, but with humility, not pride. Emma and Mary, the girls they had once humiliated, had grown into confident, successful women, admired not for phones or glamour, but for their intelligence, kindness, and perseverance. Lily whispered to Sarah, "We lost so much, but maybe we finally understood what really matters." And for the first time in years, the three friends felt peace. No phones, no club, no fake glamour, just honesty, friendship, and a small victories of a life rebuilt. The lesson was clear. True value does not come from objects, appearance, or social media. It comes from respect, integrity, and choice we make every day. And that was the story of the girl who learned the hard way that chasing illusion only brings pain, while patience, honesty, and self-respect can last for a lifetime. Thank you guys for watching to this point. Like, share, and subscribe, and also turn on your notification bell so that whenever I drop amazing story like this one, you'll be the first to get notified.